Hey, this is Neil, and I'm back with another ASL tutorial boot camp, this time number 11, where I'm going to talk about snipers. Let's ignore this theoretical setup here for a minute and talk about snipers a bit. I like snipers, the sniper rule set in ASL. It's actually fairly simple. It's only about one page in the rule book, but it introduces a lot of variability and chaos into ASL, which is a war game. War is chaotic in itself. So having the sniper rule set introduces more chaos into the ASL game and less control, takes some control away from the player. Some players hate this. I'm not one of them. Some players love it. I wouldn't say I love it, but I like it. I like what it adds to the game. And I wish that the sniper rule set would have been included in starter kit because it is fairly simple. Doesn't add a whole lot of complexity to the game, but it does add a lot of flavor and unpredictability to the game that I like a lot. Again, due to the nature of the chaos and randomness of war. And, you know, the whole point of playing a war game is to, if we could predict the outcome of a game we played, we would probably never play it. That's the whole role that the dice play in generating randomness within the game, and it's why a lot of us hate the dice and the results of the dice, but that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make things not go as planned, and we're supposed to adjust around it or try to minimize the impact that the dice have on the game or into the scenario that we're playing. And at the end of this, I'll also have some tips on how to mitigate the risk of the opponent sniper possibly taking out some of your leaders or breaking squads and whatnot. So let's jump into basically the mechanics, the nuts and bolts of snipers. It's fairly simple. I have a few slides here that I'm going to go through. The first slide here. So snipers are an inherent and uncontrollable part of the game. They're you can't there's a sniper counter that resides on the board, but you really don't have control over it. During the course of the game, as you play and you make rolls, the sniper can suddenly be activated and a result can happen, but you can't really control when that happens. Only thing you control is either the initial placement when it's put on the board, adjusting the location of the sniper counter as an option, or choosing between multiple hexes if there's a tie on where that sniper might take a shot. That's really the only control you have over the sniper. Other than that, it's chaos. So the initial placement is defender goes first, and you place the sniper counter in an unoccupied hex within 6 hexes of at least 6 enemy occupied hexes. And then the SAN number on the scenario card is indicated by these brackets and a number, and the number can be anywhere between 2 and 7. A SAN number, if it drops below 2, the sniper counter is removed from the game, and it's permanently from the game. There's no more sniper activity for that side, and a sniper activation number can be reduced below 2 from various events, and you can never have a sniper number above 7 because it doesn't make statistical sense. The chances of rolling 8s is the same as rolling 6s, so statistically, so 2 through 7 are the numbers that this SAN can be, and that's listed on the scenario card for each nationality. Now, there are, I think, basically 4 steps to sniper activation. There is the activation itself, when the sniper actually wants to take a shot or can take a shot. Then there's the resolution die roll itself, and then there's target selection, and then there is sniper checks on top of that, where the opponent can basically has the opportunity to reduce the sniper activation number of the sniper taking a shot through various activities by making a sniper check. So sniper activates when the opponent rolls your sniper activation number. So if your sniper activation number is 4, for example, and your opponent rolls a 4 on a 2-hit morale check, task check, non-OBA infantry fire table, or entrenching die roll during the prep fire, movement phase, defensive fire phase, or advancing fire phase, that means the sniper is activated and you do a sniper resolution die roll. This last bullet here is important. Rolls that can produce no result other than a sniper activation are not made, and that happens occasionally, but most of the time a sniper check will occur if you roll um, your opponent's sniper activation number. Obviously, if the sniper activation is 2 in the scenario, you're not going to get a whole lot of activations. You need snake eyes to activate. If you have a SAN of 7, you're going to get a lot of activations throughout the scenario. That's sniper activation of 7 usually occurs during scenarios like in big city type areas, Stalingrad, red barricades. I haven't looked at the SAN in red barricades or red October. I imagine there's 6s or 7s, and there's sniper shots going all over the place. Let's get into, let's see, I'm going to look at my slide here that you see on screen, but I have a printout. Yeah, so let's go to the next slide. Resolution, sniper resolution. So once a sniper has been activated by one side or the other, um, the players whose sniper has been activated rolls 1 die. And there's a resolution if they roll a 1 or a 2 on 1 dice. A 1 is better. Rolling a 1 has more impact than rolling a 2. Typically, if you roll a 1, that results in things like elimination of leaders, or you can reduce the sniper activation number by 1 if you target the opponent's sniper. You can break multi-man counters. You can reduce multi-man counters. You can stun CE crews, but all of those are depending on the target that the resolution happens to hit. And then if you roll a 2, you can do things like wound leaders or single man counters, pin multi-man counters, stun crew exposed crews, or you can pin the enemy sniper on top of that. Or if you roll a 1 or 2 on resolution, you can choose before you roll the distance and direction that the sniper counter moves. So right after resolution of a 1 or 2, you can instead you can choose to reposition your sniper counter per the rules, the bullet on the first slide that I just showed. Within 6 hexes of 6 occupied hexes, you can basically reposition it if you roll a 1 or 2 instead of doing a resolution. But you have to do it before you roll the direction and distance die roll. Now, sniper, the actual resolution, the target selection part of it, you roll, you move the random direction distance just like OBA. You roll 2 dice, a colored die and a white die. Colored die for me is usually the direction, white die is usually the distance. And you just pick up the sniper counter and move it to that hex, direction and distance. If there's no enemy target in that initial hex that it lands in, the sniper counter moves to the closest hex. And if multiple closest hexes exist, it moves to the lowest terrain effect modifier hex. So the terrain effect modifier includes TEM and smoke. It does not include things like hindrances. Only the terrain that's actually or smoke that is in the hex it lands in. Hindrances do not count. It has to be a TEM. If there are multiple units in the hex, whether it landed there initially or got adjusted to that hex, you use random selection to pick the unit. If multiple units are selected in the hex, then the player who controls the sniper counter gets to select the unit, and then the rest of the units do another sniper resolution check, each one of them. And there'd be a one, if you roll a 1 or a 2 with any of those, then there would be a resolution on them as well. Let me jump back to the third sub bullet there. If multiple closest hexes moves to lowest TEM hex. If there's a tie there, the controlling player who controls the sniper counter can move it to um, a hex of his choice. So if there's two woods hexes with enemy units in it at one hex range, they're the two closest, and they have the same tem +1 for woods. The player controlling the sniper counter can move the sniper counter to either of those hexes if there's a tie in that way. So that's kind of the way the target selection process filters down once you make a one or two resolution die roll. And then sniper checks. After resolution of the sniper attack in a hex containing enemy units, um, those attacked, armed, unpinned, non-TI, good order infantry cavalry units that were attacked may retaliate with a sniper check die roll. Now you need to roll less than or equal to a 2, but there are modifiers, and I'll pop those up. I'll see if I can pop those up right here with the die roll modifier. They basically are leadership modifier. Trying to remember off the top of my head. Leadership modifier +1 per half squad equivalent or crew. And I can't remember what the third one is, but I popped it up right here. You'll see what they are. So if you have a decent leader, 9-1, and a couple squads that get attacked, right there you've got you got a -5 die roll modifier. So you basically need a 7 to get a effective sniper check against it. But the kicker is if you make a sniper check attempt, all of those units become TI for the rest of the turn. So if they're frontline units, you may not want to do that because they wouldn't be able to fire. And depending on which player turn and which phase it is, might make you choose to do a sniper check or not, depending on what's going on, because all the units involved are TI for the rest of the player turn. And then a sniper resolution can also attack a sniper counter, like I mentioned before, and I'll show you that here on the my theoretical setup. And if it does attack it, if it attacks with a 1, the opposing sniper activation number gets reduced by 1 permanently. If it's attacked with a 2 resolution, the sniper counter gets pinned for that player turn, meaning if there's a sniper activation for that sniper the rest of that player turn, there's no activation. It's effectively pinned. Sniper check result. Yeah, I just SAN is reduced by 1. I just mentioned that if it's a 1 sniper resolution. And if it's reduced to 1, as I again mentioned previously, the sniper counter is permanently removed from the game. I'm going to go through some sniper mechanics examples to kind of show how it works. And then after that, you can also skip to it. You can skip through any part of this using the timestamps below. I'm going to jump to managing sniper risk is what I call it. And I have 6 methods to manage sniper risk so that snipers have a low impact on the game, especially if there's a high sniper activation number. So let's jump into sniper mechanics examples. So let's just, here's my theoretical setup. I'm only going to show one side. I'm going to show the German sniper controlled by a German player, obviously, with a bunch of American units set up in this village somewhere in Europe. And I just have the American sniper counter on here for reference in case we want to do a resolution of sniper against sniper. Let me just move the American counter out of the way. So for placement, I'll show the example here. So you have to place it within unoccupied hex within 6 hexes of at least 6 enemy occupied hexes. So we could put this all over the place because 6 hexes is nearly the entire board, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's practically this whole board. So a 6 hex radius is roughly like this. Within 6, we can put it almost anywhere. But looking at this, the way I threw these counters on here semi-randomly, As a German player, I look at this closely, and I'm always looking for things like hex rows that line up, especially when they line up with leaders. So if this were some scenario that we were just starting, this was the setup for whatever reasons, I would probably choose to put the sniper activate or the sniper counter, German sniper counter, in an unoccupied hex within 6 hexes of 6 occupied um, enemy occupied hexes. I would probably put it there because it puts me in line, hex row line with this leader, and this leader. Should I happen to get a sniper activation? So that's where I would put this just to start this out. Let's say the German has a sniper activation of 4, just for the heck of it. It could be anything. 2 to 7. 4 is kind of a middle value there. So a sniper can be activated anytime. The German sniper would be activated anytime the Americans roll a 4 on a 2-hit. Whoop. Just to review the criteria on a 2-hit. Morale check. Task check. Non-OBA infantry fire table. Hopefully that's getting on the video and not off. Or entrenching. Oop. Entrenching. So, Americans, if they roll a 4, there's 2 ways you can roll a 4. 1 and 3, and a 2 and 2. Americans roll that during these events, during the prep fire, movement phase, defensive fire phase, or advancing fire phase. The sniper wakes up and says, I'm going to take a shot at something. There's enough activity that you've garnered the attention of the German sniper somewhere on the board. The sniper counter does not represent where the actual sniper is. We have no idea where he is on the board. He could be anywhere. This is sort of, I look at this as sort of the center of the sniper's attention at the current moment. Somewhere in this area he's focused on. And then when you roll an event, like you're making noise, you fire a gun, you do a task check, you try to entrench, that's going to draw his attention. So let's say the Americans roll infantry fire table. They fire on something, and they roll a 4. Now it's time for the German sniper to activate. Let me get I'm just going to actually roll one here and see what happens. So we've rolled a 4. All play stops at that point. Well, that's not true. You do not resolve the sniper activation until the events that activated him are carried out. So if the Americans rolled a 4 on an infantry fire table on some German units, they would all take their morale checks first, or whatever effect it may have had, before you roll a activation check or a resolution, a 1 or 2, hopefully a 1 or 2 on your German. And during those morale checks, the Germans may have had to take from that 4 infantry fire table roll, that could also generate a sniper activation of the American sniper if they made a morale check and rolled the American player's sniper activation. So you can actually have situations where the snipers are kind of activating at the same time. If they both have high sniper activations, you could have one sniper activation kind of queued up and another one happens while you're resolving the events that cause that activation. And then you would go back and resolve that activation, and then you resolve the American activation. So sometimes they can kind of stack up. So let's say the Americans fired 4 infantry fire table on some German somewhere, and then they all make their morale checks or whatever, and that's resolved. Now it's time to see if the sniper activated. You have to roll a 1 or 2. We're just gonna say he rolled a 1. Now once you roll a 1, the sniper has taken a shot somewhere. You roll to see where it lands, just like OBA. Colored die is direction for this. For me, you can do it either way. White will be distance. 4, 3. So he's going to go direction 4, 3 hexes. That's where it's going to move. My tweezers at. Sniper counter lands here. Nothing there. There's no enemy unit. So what it's going to do, it's going to move to the closest enemy occupied hex. Closest enemy occupied hex is here. Sniper lands there. And a 1 resolution. There's a table on the quick reference data sheet somewhere. There's a table in the actual rulebook section under snipers. And there's a table on the rat charts. Any of those places, you can see what a 1 resolution is on a multi-man counter. And a 1 sniper attack on a multi-man counter, there's only 1 in this hex, so we don't have to do random selection. That breaks. A 1 breaks a multi-man counter. Let's just pretend there's a DM counter on there. Okay. So that's a pretty easy sniper resolution. Now let's move him back here. And let's do, well, let's just say the sniper was activated and he got moved to here, for example. Okay. Now we have 2 targets within equal distance here. A sniper can only attack a crew exposed AFB. These guys are buttoned up, so a smart sniper is not going to be taking pot shots at a buttoned up AFV. He knows that. So he's going to naturally go to Sergeant Hutch here in this stone building. I'll just leave it aside. So the sniper is going to shoot here on this resolution. We have 3 units here. Leader and 2 squads. So I failed to mention this, but it seems obvious. The terrain effect comes into play when you have to choose between multiple hexes. It does not affect rolling the sniper resolution number. There's no modification. You roll 1 die. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you're going to get an effect. If you roll a 3 through 6, you get nothing. So sniper counter is going to move to there. Let me get another die here. Or 3 dies. Now we do random selection. I'm going to say the orange, top to bottom, orange, yellow, white. He attacks the bottom unit, and he would, if it was a 1, he would break the bottom unit. He would break them. If it was a 2 resolution, it would pin that unit. Now, if I would have called this top to bottom, white, yellow, orange, the leader would be KIA with a 1. That's every player's worst nightmare. The scenario we played a few weeks ago, Scott, take first shot he made on me. I had a morale check. I made 1 roll in the entire game. Activated the sniper. He rolled a 1, rolled the direction distance, and he smoked my 9-2 leader. Literally the first roll of the game. My worst nightmare. I lost that scenario. Let's look at a tie. Let's say the sniper moves over to here. Now let's say he ends up, after being activated, he ends up moving and landing at this spot from wherever he originally was. In this case, there is no enemy unit there, so he's going to shift. He's got 2 choices here. Next, that are closest. They're both in wood buildings, which means I get the choice. As a German player, I get to choose to attack either this hex or this hex, both the +2 tem. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but in this case, I would choose the full squad. So sniper counter is going to move to there and attack that with a 1 or a 2, depending on what you rolled. 1 would break it, a 2 would pin the squad. Okay. Now let's say he landed here. Again, there's no enemy unit. There's a enemy occupied hexes within 1. So there's a tie in distance, but he's going to choose, he has no choice. He has to attack the half squad in the wooden building because it has a lower train effect modifier, which makes sense again. Sniper's going to want to attack he's going to go the path of least resistance on attack. He's going to attack units in the open. If there's a tie, he's going to attack units in the open before he attacks units in the woods, before he attacks units in a wood building, before he attacks units in a stone building, etc. Okay, so the fundamentals of the sniper mechanics are actually quite easy. I wish they would have included this in the starter kit because I think it adds a lot of adds some spice and flavor, unpredictability to the game that I really like. It can be frustrating as hell sometimes, but almost every rule in ASL is frustrating. It's meant to get our blood pumping during the scenario, but I really like sniper rules and what it introduces to the game. I think I covered the basic. Oh no, no, no. Let me cover a sniper check real quick. Oh, and attacking the enemy sniper counter. So you can attack the enemy sniper counter if you happen to land on it. It gets attacked. If it's an attack with a 1 resolution, its sniper activation number gets reduced by 1 permanently. If it's attacked by a 2, it's pinned and you basically just flip it over. And they cannot attack until the next player turn. They're basically pinned this player turn. At the end of this player turn, you flip it back over and they can attack again if activated. Now, if I land in a hex here with a bunch of units, the German sniper counter, I'll just move it to the side here, and I attack on them, and I get some sort of resolution. Let's call it a, what do I have in here? I've got, oh geez, I got 2.5 squads. Let's say I attack this and I end up breaking this guy here. I end up breaking the top squad with a 1. Okay. That leaves 1.5 squad equivalents and there's 9 minus 1 leader. Now, after the sniper attack is resolved, these units can do a sniper check against that sniper. And I have to roll a... I can't even spell sniper. Sniper. Die roll. You have to roll 2 dice. I have to roll less than or equal to a 2. Now my modifiers, my die roll modifiers for this are leadership, -2 for leadership. And then I've got 1.5 squad, so I've got 3 half squad equivalents. So that's another -3 for half squad equivalent. Oops. Equivalent. So I have a -5 die roll. I have to roll basically a 7 or less. Let's see if I can do it. Let me try again. There we go. So that sniper check would be successful, and the sniper activation of this would be reduced to, of the German counter, would be reduced to 3 for the rest of the game. And this entire stack, whether it happened at the very beginning of the player turn or the very end, anywhere, they're now marked with a TI counter. Basically, they wouldn't be able to do anything the rest of the player turn. So depending on where they are in the action, if they're back in the back, they may choose to do that. If they're up on the front line, they may not choose to do a sniper check because they don't want to be locked up in TI and not be able to do anything the rest of the term. Okay, I think that's all I want to cover on the mechanics of snipers. I didn't do my roll low last time. I'm going to do it here. See what I get. 6. All right. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And hit the like button at a minimum because that's how YouTube notices ASL videos. The more likes ASL videos get, the more ASL shows up on YouTube. So do that. Thanks. Have a good day.